Hi, my name is Valerie Zonnefeld, and I invite you to come along with me as I envision my ideal high school. Designing an ideal high school is a tall order. High schools have remained relatively unchanged for many years. It's relatively rare to see a whole school change its psyche and its pedagogy. It's very, very rare to see a high school do so. In thinking about my ideal high school, I use the 8 elements of high school improvement written by the National High School Center at the American Institutes for Research. The elements offer a broad perspective and approach. They include a rigorous curriculum and instruction, assessment and accountability, teacher effectiveness and professional growth, student and family involvement, stakeholder engagement, effective leadership, organization and structure, and finally, sustainability. The center believes that too often school reform is limited and focused on just a specific area like test scores or graduation rates. They propose a comprehensive approach since all elements are interrelated. However, some aspects receive more emphasis than others depending on the current needs of the school. I agree with the National High School Center that a broad approach is needed for high school reform. With this in mind, the ideas for my ideal high school will be broad brushstrokes of systems reform, with details that need to be filled in given the time limitations of this project. The overarching goal of my school design is to engage high school students in their learning. The outcome will be graduates who are competent, digital natives with the skills and desires to be lifelong learners capable of global collaboration. I believe many side benefits of engaged students will naturally occur, including decreased truancy, increased test scores, and higher graduation rates. Vehicles to accomplish engagement include creative scheduling, a tech-rich environment, and changes in instructional design, which include project-based learning that incorporates the ideas of the flat classroom. So why is engagement important? Well, as the comic reminds us, there's more to learning than having students physically present. We need to have their minds engaged and involved in the activity. Philip Schlechte argues that if schools are to serve the needs of 21st century America, they must focus on nurturing engagement, since that's when higher order learning occurs. Content knowledge can be for a day, but habits of learning are for a lifetime. The authors of The Differentiated School argue that the business of school is to produce work that engages students. Dan Behrens uses the term sticky experiences to describe engaging tasks. Sticky experiences remain with students and continue to inform them in the future. How can we nurture these sticky experiences in our high schools? Well, one method to inspire engagement is project-based learning. Project-based learning is an instructional approach built upon authentic learning activities that engage student interests and motivation. It is designed to answer a question or solve a problem and generally reflects the type of learning and work that people do in everyday world outside the classroom. Project-based learning can provide sticky experiences that remain with students. When most of us reflect on the most meaningful educational experiences of our lives, we typically don't name a test, but rather the projects, interactions, and moving environments of learning that tested our character, creativity, and critical thinking ability. One issue that schools that employ the traditional high school design face is the strict subject boundaries. It's no wonder that many secondary school students complain that school is irrelevant to the larger world. In the real world, we do not wake up in the morning and do social studies for 50 minutes. An advantage of project-based learning is that students see how content truly relates to the world and are more willing to invest their time and energy into that content. The second method to inspire engagement is a technology-rich environment. In the public broadcasting video, How Google Saved a World, technology is compared to oxygen. Davis and Lindsay state that good teachers can become better with technology, and that technology makes multisensory delivery easier than ever before. Edgar Dale's cone of learning reinforces the need for engagement and the dividends for retention of content when multiple senses are engaged. Technology offers many other benefits to our students as well. The world and knowledge are literally at our students' fingertips. Using technology also allows teachers to teach digital citizenship and responsible use of that technology. After all, the best filter created is between the ears of the person using the computer. It is through guided experiences that students can practice digital citizenship and also learn what it means to be safe on the internet. The specifics of the tech-rich environment include a one-to-one environment with around-the-clock wireless access. This will put the internet and knowledge at each student's hands all times of the day. This will help break and erase the digital divide that so many students face. Each student will also have a personal blog to process their learning across all subjects. One last specific of this tech-rich environment is a digital portfolio that each student builds throughout their career in high school. It will include highlights and projects from each semester. A third aspect of creating an engaging school is global engagement. Learning does not take place in isolation. An important role of the classroom teacher and the school is to invite others into the classroom in order to support knowledge acquisition while encouraging discussion and problem solving. Davis and Lindsay argue that we need to educate the next generation differently, not so much because they are different, but because the world is different. Friedman and Jukes add that new skills are needed to prepare students for the demands of the workplace. The emphasis on memorization and rote learning is no longer valid. An advantage of global engagement is that it promotes global awareness and deeper knowledge of culture than a textbook can. Another aspect which creates a climate for engagement is flexible scheduling. To effectively implement project-based learning, the typical school day of 8 40-minute periods may not work. There should be time for teachers to work together to plan interdisciplinary projects. A block schedule or hybrid block schedule will allow longer periods of time for students to immerse themselves in projects. Or maybe some students attend in the morning and have work periods in the afternoon, while other students attend in the afternoon and have their work period in the morning. The point is that creative scheduling options need to be considered. Project-based learning, a tech-rich environment, and global engagement and flexible scheduling are important parts of my ideal school. But it takes more than these changes to create a truly engaging school. What other aspects are important to support an engaging school? Well, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a helpful resource in how to attain engaged students. It takes into account the motivation of students. Maslow theorized that students' needs in the lower levels must be met before they can attain higher levels and ultimately self-actualization. A student who has achieved self-actualization is a student who is ripe for being engaged in the educational process. It's important for schools to be cognizant of these needs. For example, if my ideal high school is in a low socioeconomic area, it will be important to offer a meal program for students. Unmet basic needs make it difficult for students to engage in learning. To address safety, my school will have safety procedures in place and rehearsed with all faculty, staff, and students. My school will have exterior doors locked with visitors approved through the front office. If the school is in a neighborhood with a higher crime rate, higher security will be necessary to ensure that students feel safe and are safe. This may include law enforcement personnel in the school. Social considerations also need to be made. Educators need to remember that the social aspect of school is more important than the curricular for many students. My school and classes within it will make allowances for students to express their social needs. This includes spaces in the school and regular time designated for students to interact with each other. Esteem is the final step before self-actualization. Students want to be respected. Genuine respect for all individuals is an important part of engaging students. Students need to know how much you care about them. There's considerable research that suggests kids who are better connected do better academically and behave more appropriately. Differentiated instruction is a key strategy that also shows respect for all students. No two students consistently learn at the same pace, with the same support, and the same modes. 4 final considerations in designing an engaging school are the curriculum, professional development, the facility, and learning legacies. We'll start with curriculum. Curriculum cannot be without structure and clarity about what we will create engaged learners. A curriculum map which shows the vertical and horizontal curricular structure is key to communicating with stakeholders and giving the structure in which teachers can express their freedom in the classrooms. Essential questions are also an important way to help students understand the overarching goals of the lesson, the unit, or even the year. Essential questions work very well with a project-based learning environment. The curriculum will be designed in light of what it means to know in the 21st century. We live in an information age in which knowledge is easily accessible. This is a game changer and should affect the curriculum as well. This curriculum needs to reflect the Common Core standards, but not be limited by them. It should be a prioritized curriculum that is achievable. Another aspect of the curriculum is that it periodically demonstrates the relationship of the disciplines, heightening their relevancy. Professional development is also important. Teachers are a key component to systemic change. Educational change that does not involve and isn't supported by the teacher usually ends up as change for the worse, or as no real change at all. In the end, it is the teacher in his or her classroom who has to interpret and bring about improvement. I want to utilize the professional development opportunities at High Tech High. High Tech High started as a charter school with a strong project-based emphasis. Now it is an integrated network of schools in Southern California that offers professional development and kindergarten through graduate school education as well. Aware of the culture in schools, they seed new schools with principals, teachers, and even students who already have lived and work in a high-tech high school. Ideally, a core group of teachers in my high school will have attended professional development at High Tech High. Over a 3-year period, all teachers will attend training at High Tech High. A final aspect of professional development in my ideal high school is developing a personal learning community. A good proportion of staff development resources should be given to opportunities for teachers to learn from, observe, and network with each other. These opportunities should include time. Teachers should push themselves to create the professional learning environments they want. Elements to consider including in a personal learning community are push technologies, learning circles, lesson study, and including participants from around the globe. Another aspect to support and engage school are well-designed learning spaces which foster collaboration. Effective learning spaces give teachers more choices beyond their own classroom and create an ecosystem for learning. The learning legacy of the students also needs to be considered. Examples of learning outcomes are parent or community nights, online ceremonies, digital student portfolios, and community service project outcomes. Davis and Lindsay state that if graduation is your only academic ceremony, that just isn't enough. So how will we know if we've achieved our goals? Assessment helps us in continuous improvement by providing benchmarks to assess if the school is achieving its goals. Assessment can also be informative in planning staff development. It should include both individual student results as well as school-wide results. If we judge the success of a school solely on test scores, we set our sights too narrowly. Aspects should include grades, student discipline, attendance, college acceptance rates, dropout rates, scores on standardized tests, and qualitative measures including student satisfaction and motivation. Ideally, this assessment will show that the goals of engaging students stated at the beginning of this presentation have been met. I will close by restating my vision for my ideal high school. I want a school with an overarching goal of engaging students, with graduates who are competent, digital natives, with the skills and desires to be lifelong learners, capable of global collaboration. Thanks for your time.